Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be discussing how to use AWS Lambda. So this is a serverless system. It offers compute. So basically you uh, create an environment and put your project in there and then run it. So it supports Python, it supports Java, it supports .NET. So there's a lot of environment that it supports. So this is great in a way that you can use it without even worrying about servers and maintenance and uh, extending compute resources. So this is a very good resource if you want to just uh, start running with your like project or experiment or startup that you're trying to do. So today we are going to uh, show how to create a lambda function. So you see the configurations that you have to do and what that you have to look out for, and also we are going to run node code in it. So we're going to have a node.js project that we are going to put in there and then run it so you can see it functioning. And also we are going to be able to implement an ability to trigger that lambda function with a functional URL. So when you go into the AWS console, you have to go on the recent. You can click lambda, or if you don't have it, you can click lambda here. You can search for lambda, and then it will give you the option. As you can see, these are all the projects that I've created, but you can go on this button and create function. So since we are doing it from scratch, we are going to choose the from scratch option. We don't need this for this example. So you just have to give the function a name. So I'll give it example Lamo, and then you choose a runtime. So for us, because we are using nodeJs, we are going to select nodeJs. But if you want to use Java, .NET, Python, you can choose whatever you want, but for this example we are going to use nodejs 20. And also if you prefer ARM, you can, but for this example we are going to use x86 and 64. Under here, these are permissions. So if you're using a lambda function, say you want to communicate with another service, so something like S3 or API gateway, you need to create a role that will be able to allow that your lambda function to be triggered by that particular AWS service. So for this project, we are not doing that, so we won't do it for this. So you can click create function here. Just wait for it to finish. Taking forever. Yeah. So when you get into the console, you get when it finishes, you get this message up here. You can remove it. So for let me just explain what this is and this. So a trigger is like basically what triggers your lambda function. So for example, you have an S3 bucket and you are receiving maybe images and you want to modify every PNG that you get in there. You can say, okay, I want a trigger for S3. I want that S3 to trigger my lambda function and give me the information about that specific file. So it can be a PNG file, you can even give a name or an extension of a file. So a lambda layer is like a dependency. Basically, it sort of acts as a dependency for your lambda function. So you can think of maybe you have a project that has a lot of dependencies. So you can put all those node dependencies inside at a lambda layer, and you can link it to your function. Because when your project gets too big, it revokes your right to see your code and modify it like this. So it's just a message saying your project is too big and so on, and so on. So your only ability to modify your code is from your IDE basically. So yeah, so this is the example code. If you want to test it, you can click here. You can give it a name, it's up to you, but I'm not trying to save this function, this test, so you can just invoke it from here and you'll get the result of the function. So while this is great, it does not exactly explain to you how you can use lambda function. So for this example, we are going to use JavaScript code. So as you can see, this is a JavaScript code. It's a simple piece of code. Basically, you're using Axios to pull data from this JSON URL, and then you're just displaying it. So if you can try to run it, you can see it brings back this JSON payload. So now what you try to do is to run this function inside a lambda function. So for us to be able to do that, as you can see, this is a bit modified from the first one, just minor, just that the function has this. So I explained something about triggers. So if you're using something like a trigger, say as I gave an example of S3, so if S3 is triggering this lambda function, the event will carry whatever data the trigger came with. So if they, for example, it would be like the path, what particular file triggered it. So as I said in the example, it would be like a PNG. So you get all the information about that PNG and you can do something with them in here. So for us to use this code in lambda, we have to zip this code up, and let's remove this local one. So we'll be using this in the lambda function. So we are going to compress it. As you can see, this is a zip. So we'll go back to AWS. So if you want to upload your code, you have to go here, and then you have two options. Either you can take that zip and upload it to S3 and then provide the link. So the link would be here, and then you can press save. It will automatically download it from AWS, or you can use a zip file, the zip file that we just created. So as you can see, this is the zip file, and we'll upload it. We'll wait for that to finish. It does not take long. Why are you taking forever? Yes, now it has finished. So as you can see, that message, I think it was prompting me to change the code to MJS. And then you can deploy it. For us to test this code, we have to go on the test. So you have to click test. Because we already ran the test, it sort of saves the configuration for the first test that we did, and you can just redo it. So as you can see, it returns our JSON here. So also, while this is cool, you may ask, what if I had an API in there? How would I trigger that API from, say, my phone or some IoT system from a web browser? So for us to be able to do that, we can use, there are two ways. So we can use a service called API Gateway, this one. So this is basically a whole service that acts as a middleman to your lambda function. So you can do a lot with it, and it's quite complicated. I think I should create another tutorial for that. But for this example, for simplicity's sake, we're going to use a lambda, a function URL. So you can create a function URL here. You can choose to either authenticate that URL or leave it bare. So it depends on your design. So if you've designed your API to like do the security on its own, it's fine. But if you also want to add an extra layer, you can use the IAM. I think we can also make the video. Let me know in the comments if you want that. So we're going to choose none, and it's going to create a policy. As I mentioned, when you want to use certain services, you usually create a policy for your lambda function to use. So for this, you are going to, it has created this policy that it's going to be used with a lambda function. So you're going to save it. And when it's finished, it's going to create this. If you remember, initially in the video, there was nothing here because it wasn't created yet. So when you call this lambda, when you click this URL, when you open it anywhere, it will basically call this particular code and bring you the results, this. So all you have to do to test it is to click here, and let's let it load, and then you see the results at the end of the page. So, and you can consume this JSON however you want, and yeah, that's all. I'm going to be creating more videos. Let me know what you want for me to demonstrate, and comment, like, subscribe. I'll be doing more videos. Bye.